Man, this show. I got to the point where I expect the worst to happen, and it does not disappoint. I just finished watching episode 7, season 1, episode 7 of Blue Eye Samurai. Spoiler alert. Wow, I'm going to start. It ended with, the last episode, Ringo saved, like I thought. Couldn't really tell, but it was Misu and Taigen that dived into the water. Ringo drug him out. Traveled for some days, beating on the door to try to get somebody to let him in so they can be tended to, because they look like they're Ringo wasn't even sure if they were alive or not. Turns out, so Ringo couldn't get the person to open up the door. A sword fell. It was Misu's sword, and then the door opened and it was Master Eiji, because he heard the sword. He knew it was Misu and let him in. So he tended to them. Wow, the story went so many different ways. I'll stay with Misu's story first. So, they got healed up. Misu wanted to make a new sword, because her sword fell into like 3 pieces. Master Eiji was telling her it was too pure. She said, she basically didn't care. So she went and she built a kiln in the backyard and tried to build it, and it fell apart again. And then she was like, well, I don't have a sword. Taigen, meanwhile, wakes up. And they have a conversation. Turns out they were, it was Master Eiji's place, so Taigen could tell by the smell. They weren't too far from where they grew up. So Taigen visited the old home area, flashbacks to when they used to torture Misu as kids, his little crew. Anyway, he came back and basically told Misu, because Misu was down on herself, and he told Misu basically, you're a great swordsman, greater than me, even nobody's greater than me. You could beat the guy with a hammer. And they ended up wrestling around for a minute. And then this episode was raw. This was the least of it, because I guess Taigen got aroused and was embarrassed. And then Misu said, I want to tell you a secret, or I have to tell you something. I thought Misu was about to break it down that she was a woman, but she told Taigen about the plot that Fowler and Haji Shindo had to attack the castle, Edo, in Edo, where, of course, Akemi was about to get married to the Shogun's youngest son. He has 2 sons. Akemi's marrying the youngest. He gets mad. Taigen gets mad because it took Misu some days to tell him. So he vowed to go to Edo, rescue Akemi or whatever, and then come back and kill Misu. So that was that. Misu decided, when Misu talks to Master Eiji after that, and was talking about being a failure and stuff, and how everybody saw her as a monster and a demon, because of course Taigen called her a demon when he saw her, when he talked to her about that stuff. And everybody calls her a demon and a monster throughout the series, throughout the, season. Anyway, Master Eiji basically says, I didn't teach you to be a demon, I taught you to be an artist. And she was like, so my art's revenge? And he's like anything, basically he tells her anything can be an art. Almost sounds like some Ratatouille stuff. Anyone can cook, but anybody can be an artist anyway, and anything can be art. It's what you're dedicated to. And he says that, Master Eiji was basically saying, I'm an artist when it comes to making swords. That's all I focus on. It tells, Misu, basically making Misu understand she needs to focus on her art, which at this point is revenge. It's kind of some Man on Fire elements, if you've seen that movie. The guy said his art is death, and he was about to paint his masterpiece. It's when Denzel goes off on this tirade of killing people. It was Taken before Taken. Anyway, you gotta check out Man on Fire if you haven't seen it. If you've seen this show, then you like violence, so go check it out. Anyway, Misu gets naked completely and paints herself up with this mantra or whatever, and has Ringo paint the backside of her. She's completely head to toe painted with this mantra. And as she's standing there naked, she builds another urn and forges the steel. She doesn't make the sword though. She takes the steel inside and taps it, and Master Eiji hears it and says, that steel could kill a god. And she didn't take the pure steel the first time she took the pure steel. The second time she added the bell that Ringo gave her. It was something else important that she added. I'm forgetting. But she basically added things that were important to her. Oh, the kitchen knife that she made. I'm guessing it was that first kitchen knife she made for Master Eiji. But anyway, when that steel added to that, the steel that came from outer space they got, or wherever, the meteor, it made this unbelievable steel. And she was basically like, she says she's not going to make a sword from it. She's going to leave the steel with Master Eiji. She's going to go kill Fowler, come back, and then Master Eiji has to decide whether she's worthy of a sword from his hand. So she wants him to make the sword. And that's pretty much the end of her story. They talk a little bit more about the plot with Abuja Fowler and Haji Shindo. They have this decadent tour of the cities as they go head to Edo. And I can't even get into the things they were doing, the sexual stuff that was going on, but it's pretty raw and yeah. Okay, anyway. They get there, and Haji Shindo has set all this stuff up for Abuja Fowler, so he's really happy with Haji Shindo. And Haji Shindo keeps saying, where are the guns? They're supposed to get these foreign guns shipped in for this battle they're supposed to have. And Abuja Fowler wouldn't tell him, and he finally told him. It's like in 2 days on fishing boats, the guns will come in. So then Haji Shindo writes to his people, to the Shogun's people, and says, tells them what's going on. Said, find these guns, tear it apart, bribe anybody you need to, tear the city side apart, find these guns. We got to get them before Abuja Fowler, and then I'll kill them. So that was that. They couldn't find them in the 2 days. Haji Shindo had them tearing up the countryside looking for them, couldn't find the guns. And then Abuja Fowler, Haji Shindo was sitting there naked with some chick. This episode was really sexual. And Abuja Fowler tells him, come here, I got something to show you. And he shows him that he had sneaked the guns in, and it was, tough to find them. So at this point, I'm tough to get them in the city, in the country. So at this point, I'm thinking he knows Haji Shindo is dirty, he's gonna kill him. Doesn't seem like he does. So he has these, he said he had 2 people brought in basically to execute, and they brought him 4. And he's all like, oh, it's nice to be respected. They brought him twice as many as he wanted. So they're standing way off. He has a person shoot an arrow at him. The person misses, then he shoots his gun and kills them. And then he has a firing squad kill the other 3. Turns out one of them was one of the Shogun's assistants. They unveiled him. So Fowler knew that it was a plot against him. But at this point, he still doesn't seem to know that Haji Shindo is in on it, because he gives Haji Shindo a gun and says, hey, because apparently that guy was supposed to turn on the Shogun, but he was on the Shogun's side still. And he was supposed to lead the army against the Shogun. So apparently, now it's Haji Shindo's battle. It's Haji Shindo's job to lead the army, according to Abuja Fowler. And Haji Shindo gives him the gun, says, it's your army now, and walks away. So I'm guessing Abuja Fowler still doesn't know Haji Shindo is dirty against him. I mean, they're all dirty. My question is, why didn't Haji Shindo just shoot Abuja Fowler in the head? It would have been like the 100th most gruesome thing that happened on the show. So it would have been a big deal. Anyway, that's their storyline. Akemi is coming into town to get married. As she's coming into town, she sees she's being carried through town, of course. Princess. It's her wedding that everything is getting shut down for. It's her wedding and some kind of council meeting, and the council meeting is when Abuja Fowler is planning on attacking. Who was the guy who was going to end up being Akemi's father-in-law, the Shogun. Anyway, she stops her carriage because she sees Madame Kaiji, I think her name is, the madam and her prostitutes, and they have a conversation. And at first, she's happy to see him, and she starts talking about how terrible her life is. And one of the women was like, "I'd trade with you in a heartbeat," and they're talking about all the men they had sex with to make it to town for this event, and all the depraved things guys had them do. And they were like, "You just want one guy to do depraved things too, so we don't feel sorry for you." And she's like, I want control of my life. And, Madam gives her some advice about taking control of her life, basically by controlling her husband. She's like, men are weak. Control him and you'll have control of your life. So she goes off. So then she goes into the house, talking to her dad. Her dad's happy, telling her to find a smile because she looks miserable. She's upset. Obviously, she's getting married. Her dad leaves. She has this bird in a cage. So she sets the bird free. Looks all Aladdin type stuff. She sets the bird free. Bird flies. She follows the bird, and predictably, the bird gets shot out of the air. You knew this was coming. This show is. You knew it was coming. Anyway, bird gets shot out of the air. Oh God, I lost my train of thought. Turns out her husband was the one that shot the bird. Her fiance. So she was upset about that, obviously, and then her attendants, who the mother-in-law, are the ones who are the mother-in-law, is the one who assigned the attendants to her, and they're like, you need to be careful because he, killed his last wife, basically. So don't talk back to him or whatever. So they ended up having this meal for them, this lavish meal. Everybody got served. Then the mother-in-law had these special dishes served just for Akemi. And some horse semen type stuff, some pig's blood. And it was disgusting. I couldn't watch it. Akemi consumed all of it, though. She was going for it. She's tough as nails. And the last thing that was served was the bird that the husband killed, the fiance killed. Fried, or baked or whatever, but cooked and served. She took the wing off and ate it. Bad chick. She's bad. So anyway, the next thing I remember seeing, I think the next scene with Akemi in it, she gets this gift from her fiance. Turns out it's 2 birds, and the attendants are like, "Oh, he gave you 2 more meals, one for breakfast and one for lunch, or one for lunch and one for dinner, or something like that." So she gets mad. She storms into the room where the fiance is, slaps him, and is like, "How dare you?" And coming to find out, he sent her the birds as an apology for his mother. Plus, he has a bad stutter. So Akemi turns on the charm, and she feels bad. She demurs as a dutiful wife, and they end up having sex. Then Kimmy fires her attendants. Then the next thing you see is Kimmy has invited Madam Kenji and her girls into the place. It's 4 girls, and Madam Kenji is there, or Kaiji. Madam Kaiji is there. And she offers to buy their contracts out from Madam Kaiji at 5 times normal rate. Madam Kaiji is like, that's not, you don't owe us anything. And Kimmy is like, no, but I know what I want with my life, and I need people I can trust around me. So she offers the girls the opportunity to be a part of her court. One of them gets really emotional and cries, and they're, obviously very excited about the idea to live in a palace and to take care of the princess, because that's a great life for women who are just dealing with sex freaks. And the one who's crying tells her about the plot. Obviously, she's been sleeping around. She's heard about the plot. She's like, "You all are in danger." So Akemi has her tell her father about the plot, and the young lady tells Akemi's father. Akemi's father thanks her. Akemi's father asks her if anybody else knows about it. Then Akemi's father pushes her out the window and to her death. Then he has his daughter imprisoned. He tells her, "I told you to trust me. obviously he knew about the plot, and he is in on it, and he's gonna be in power once this is all over, and Akemi is gonna be elevated as well. So he locks Akemi up and tells her, "You can thank me after all this is over. In the meantime, you'll be safe here." So again, intense episode. A lot of really depraved sexual stuff in this episode, particularly with Haji Shindo and Abuja Fowler, sexual tension between Taigen and Misu. Don't know how that's going to play out, if he's going to find out she's a she or if he's gay, and then finds, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Or Bai, obviously, because he likes Akemi, because he actually said something about, I guess I'm missing Akemi. That's why he was aroused or whatever when they were wrestling around and stuff. But anyway, a lot of things left to sort out. I don't see how they're going to be sorted out in one more episode. So there's got to be a season 2 coming. So I am looking forward to that. Anyway, one more episode, and there you go.